She doesn't even go here.
I'm bi, actually.
Excuse me. Could the ugly, untalented gays please report to the principal's office?
Hi, I'm Kurt Homo, and I'll be auditioning for the role of kicker.
Hello! Welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Not So Straight Nerds. I'm your host, Luke.
And I'm your host, Alicia.
And today we are talking about the end of the award season of 2026. The Oscars has happened. All the awards are in. We're going to kind of look at everything, but definitely focus on the Oscars.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited. This is the end of our first award circle.
Yeah, we started this podcast around the same time of last year's Oscars. We literally have an outline to talk about last year's Oscars. We just never got to it because so many other things were happening. So it's finally here. We can finally talk about it. I'm excited. It really is an end of an era and a beginning of a new one. So I'm excited. And this year's Oscars, I feel like overall, especially compared to last year's, went really well, and that always is
For
exciting.
sure. Some definite notes.
Yes.
But
yes.
I think there's a lot of exciting stuff to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we'll go ahead and skip the vibe check for this
Yeah.
episode. Just go straight into it. Starting off very broadly, overall thoughts of the Oscars.
You know, just like I said, overall, I think it went really well. I love that they added clips back in. I think that was a great choice. I've seen some people mention that they were bothered by there was no like reaction clip while their clips were playing.
Oh, I don't.
I wasn't really bothered by it. I mean, I'm sure I would
Why
be
would I
fine
want-
with it if it was there.
It's like common that people don't like watching themselves.
Yeah.
So like, why would you want to? That feels weird. You're already watching them.
Yeah, I definitely don't mind. I'm not bothered by it. I hope they continue the tradition. I also want to point out, I just realized something today. So I'm getting a little bit ahead, but
Okay.
the first woman ever won in the cinematography, yes, for Sinners, and we'll get there. We'll talk about that more later. But the fun thing about that is now a woman has won in every single non-gendered category, which is very interesting. And actually, there is one category where a woman has won and a man has not won, and that is casting.
Ooh.
Because we just got our first one last night. So
great.
we'll have at least a year with that record. So I think that's kind of fun and probably the only time that will ever happen. So
No, that's
yeah.
pretty baller.
yeah, I'm kind of excited for that. I'm like, International Women's Month.
Yeah.
Anyways,
No, I super loved it. I would say, kind of compared to some of the other awards that we did watch, I would say it's maybe a close second to the actor awards for me.
Me too. I feel like the length was really good. I never felt like it
Yes.
was going on too long, which I can sometimes feel that way about the Golden Globes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked the length. I'm sticking mostly to the positives, although there were certainly negatives. I don't know if you want to highlight maybe some of those.
Oh, I'd love to, but we'll
Yeah.
stick with
Okay,
positive
okay,
first. We'll
okay.
be vibing.
Her.
There's plenty of vibes last night.
Yeah.
I will say I loved the way they presented some of the awards, like whenever they did production design rather, and they had like all of
Yeah.
the little models in the little display. They did a couple of fun little touches like that. Oh, and then when they
Yeah.
did score and they had the live orchestra going between all of the different scores.
Yeah. I
Loved
loved
that.
for
Loved the production design.
casting.
Oh, God.
They had one person from each movie talk about the casting in that movie, and I thought that was very fun. Especially who they picked was, I feel like, overall fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember. Did they do anything particularly interesting with costume? or hair and
Costume,
makeup?
I fear, is the only one where I'm like, they definitely did it better last year. Because they didn't
Yeah.
come out in their costumes. I think they did it where they were standing in front of their costumes again.
Mhm.
But gosh, last year everyone had... Oh,
That would actually be a really fun idea to come out in your costume.
No, actually,
That would be
last
really
year I
cool.
think that was the joke. Because I think they came up, but then Bowen Yang was the only one in his costume.
Oh.
Still sick.
Okay. Any other positives? I mean, there's certainly highlights in terms of certain people winning or certain things winning.
Yeah, but right now I'm just kind of
but-
focusing at
yeah.
the Oscars as like the production.
Actual production. Oh,
Um,
the stage. The stage was gorgeous. Somebody pointed out that it was giving like Golden's gonna win original song.
Mhm.
And I do agree with that. I think the way it was designed, it perfectly complemented that performance. Yeah. I thought that was great.
For sure. And then I guess going into kind of my next point, but it's still definitely in this conversation. Conan as a host. Frankly, I love him.
Yeah, I think, we didn't get to see his opening act. Unfortunately, we were having some trouble finding how to stream this.
Again.
Yes, second year in a row. Love that. But from the point when we started watching through the end, he never felt like he overtook anything, but he also very much seemed like he understood and appreciated what he was there for and what he was talking about. There were several times where I felt like he read the room very well. Like if people were getting cut off of their speeches, somebody pointed out that at one point he literally just stood there and didn't talk until they pointed it back to them.
Like it's so cool of him to do that because
Yeah.
like if they don't go, if the studio doesn't let him go along, let the people working behind the scenes go along with it,
Yeah.
it's gonna make him look so weird. But he took that risk, and they got to keep talking about their art form.
Yeah.
And,
I appreciated the way he handled that for sure. I wish he was able to do that maybe a couple more times in the night, but he did it anytime I think he could have. So I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Gosh, no, Conan's so great. I loved his joke at the end.
Mhm.
I know that there's kind of a talk that the presenters' jokes fell flat throughout. I don't know if I completely agree on that. I think
Sometimes,
I think
there
some
were
of them
hit or
went a bit
misses.
too long.
Yeah.
Which I
Well,
think is the big
especially when that means you're cutting back on actual speeches. I think that's when it's a problem. If you were having the presenters give their bit, but then didn't cut off speeches, I think it would be fine most of the time. I really liked Adrian Brody's bit where he basically didn't have one, but that was the bit because he talked so long last year.
Honestly, great bit. Quick, clean.
Self-aware. Even if it was written for him, he still went along with it, so I appreciate that.
Oh, and the Anne Hathaway.
Yes, and Anna Wintour.
Yes, I loved theirs as well. That one,
I agree.
A hoot and a half.
Yeah. Someone also pointed out that there's a joke in the Devil Wears Prada movie where Meryl Streep's character, who's supposed to be Anna Wintour, says something like, "Oh, you're gonna wear a dress with florals in spring? How original!" And she was wearing a dress with florals, so that would have been a funny joke. But I think that bit was really good. Gosh, I'm trying to remember. Oh, I liked Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. a lot. I love the way Kieran Culkin handled the Sean Penn not even being there situation.
I think
Demi Moore was fun.
Demi Moore, I think, was lovely. I think most of them were fine. I will say,
Mikey Madison was as sweet as ever.
I think, and I'll say, I've yet to see Bridesmaids. I need to, but that one, I think was
so long. A couple of them were funny and got some chuckles out of me, but it was really long. I feel like if you have that many people on stage, you need to do a quicker bit. Maybe save the cards for more of a 2 or 3 person group. Just my opinion.
Yeah.
Oh, Nicole Kidman and Ewan McGregor.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I
They
love
aged
them.
wonderfully.
I love them. Yeah. I think most of the presenters were great, and their bits overall were not too long, but there were definitely a couple.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, did you ever see the opening bit of Conan in Gladys makeup? And then him being
You
chased
showed me
into
that.
K-pop Demon Hunters?
Oh, I didn't see that entire thing, but you showed me like a gif of it, so I saw the running part.
I need to show you that full thing. It's
Okay.
hilarious. No, I think Conan has such a great and respectful vibe. Like a great highlight of how you can be really funny and still respectful of the thing you're there for.
Mhm.
Which we've definitely seen hosts who struggle to find that balance, at least throughout.
You know, speaking of Jimmy Kimmel, just, putting that out there. I actually really liked his bit, and I liked the amount that he was there.
Yeah.
I think he made
I think
just
they
the right
picked
amount
like
of
the
jokes.
best category for him to come and
Yeah.
present.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. So, good for him for the amount of time he was there. And I think that was all that's needed.
Indeed.
But, we both said we're glad that he has his platform back.
Yes.
Maybe just not in the movie space,
I
because it's
think-
just not...
And I think he's funny enough.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
He's definitely... Yeah.
But I don't know. If it's
he's
similar,
just not a movie guy, and that's okay.
yeah, and that's the
And
problem.
he just doesn't need to host the Academy Awards then. That's all.
You can do so many other things that aren't
Yeah.
hosting the Academy Awards.
Absolutely.
Next I want to talk about the performances that we got.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. I remember us
Yes.
saying on the night of
Mm-hmm.
how lovely that they bit the bullet, and we're just like, some of the original song nominees get to go,
Mm-hmm.
and the
Others
others
don't.
tough.
Mm-hmm. You mean the two that had any chance at all of winning?
I don't even
You
know
get
if
to
it's
perform.
necessarily about winning, but the idea of like doing the songs that celebrate cinema of that year,
Yeah.
not at all to shade the other nominees that didn't get performed, but I think I love that they were able to give these specific songs
Yeah.
such a highlight because they truly are so phenomenal, and they really kind of break out of the typical film space in such
Yeah.
different ways, but in so
Mhm.
in ways that need to be celebrated.
I agree. They're both such great songs. Both albums have won Grammys, and both movies have now won Oscars. So I think they both have been celebrated and have deserved to be celebrated. I'm not really interested in the discourse of like, does one deserve a win? Does one not deserve a win? I think the whole point is that they're both great, and I would have been happy for either one, and so therefore I'm happy for Golden.
Yeah,
And
well
I
said.
yeah, and I think both performances were great. I think it's hard to recreate for K-pop Demon Hunters. It's hard to recreate something that was from an animated film when you can do so much more. But I still think they did a great job. I love their intro. I thought that was a very
Oh, when you
creative
had the
way to
Saja
start.
Boys.
Yes.
Oh, and then the original Huntrix.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was so cool.
I agree. And then of course their performance was great, and I can't believe she can hit those notes. That's crazy.
No, and freaking Miles Teller. I was
Miles can't.
Canton, not Teller. Oh
Teller.
my gosh. But no, when Miles Canton hit that high note that he does in the movie, I was like, oh my gosh, he still got it.
He was just born for that role, but I also can't wait to see what he does next because he's so talented. And just the fact that he can sing and play an instrument means that he can have so many more doors open. At least I hope so. Because he's capable of doing like some musical roles as well if he wants to. He can go to Broadway if he wants to. I think there's
Oh
a
my
lot
gosh.
of avenues for him.
The I Lied to You number is like a perfect argument for Sinners to be brought to Broadway.
Absolutely. But I think just him also
Oh,
being
he's
brought
so
to
talented.
Broadway. Yeah, I thought that was great, and I think it was a great recreation from the movie as well. So yeah.
For sure. Something I wanted to ask about. So, and you can check, we did our prediction episode, and we talked a little bit about the discourse going around about Timothée Chalamet, and his comments specifically about, I don't even know the right way to say it, but the idea that he doesn't, that he views opera and ballet as basically dying art forms.
Mhm.
And that's not what he says, quote unquote, but as things that people tell him he needs to see that he's not interested in seeing. And people feel very one way or the other about that statement. Personally, I think it's a shared stance on our side that maybe when you're up for some of the most prestigious awards in being a creative, you don't talk down on other art forms. Crazy thought.
I think we've talked about this a lot. We've come to the conclusion that obviously you're allowed to have your opinions and not be a huge fan of something, but there's a way to say it and there's a time and place to say it. And I just think especially when you're at that platform, that level that you're on right now, I think that's not the time or place to say it. And in the way he said it, I think it was just intense and just disappointing. It's okay to not like ballet and opera, but to diss that art form
but
and
to
say
disrespect it, I think is like
is
come on,
not
man.
only like rude but stupid. Just a bad decision because he's had such a great campaign so far, and then to just end it like that. I mean, I saw this morning a clip of Steven Spielberg talking about that. I'm like, this is gonna have repercussions for him. Like, people are not gonna want to work with him after this. And I think this is shocking a lot of people because typically, like, white men don't get this treatment. And so some people are like, I'm happy just because of that, just because he's getting like treatment for, maybe too intense of treatment, perhaps. But at least he's getting a taste of what so many other people have had to deal with.
I mean, I don't think it's like career killing by any means.
I don't think so, but I think it's the industry telling you need to be more humble. So maybe take a beat. Don't get another Marty Supreme role, or at least campaign the way you have. Humble it down a little bit. Let's bring it down.
But then, and then all of the jokes about that.
Great. Oh my gosh.
It just did
And
not
in
let
people's
up.
speeches, it wasn't even just stuck to the bits. It was like in people's speeches. That's hilarious. I mean, you're never gonna make that mistake again. So, and nobody else in the industry better ever make that mistake again. So,
And frankly, kind of nor should they.
yeah.
And then I wanted to ask, because I have seen some specific discourse in the same vein about the I Lied to You performance, highlighting the ballet dancer.
I believe her name is Misty Copeland.
Yes.
I want to highlight that because I'm not in the ballet world whatsoever, so I did not know who she was, but a
Surely.
lot of people were like, you don't know who this is? You don't know who this is? And I'm like, okay. So I guess she's probably pretty famous.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to highlight that to give respect to her. So I believe that's her name. Maybe I'll Google that before I'm
While
like,
you do that,
take it and run with it.
And I remember seeing
Yes,
that
Misty Copeland. Yeah.
and being like, first off, what a gorgeous performer.
Yeah.
I think ballet is so impressive. Oh my gosh, just knowing how difficult it is to do those movements with your body. Oh my gosh. And I feel like and I didn't realize that she was also in the actual scene from Sinners.
I do not
I
either.
think that scene highlights so many different things that it felt weird that I couldn't remember a ballet dancer in that. I rewatched the scene. She's actually at like the very end, and the shots like on her, she like goes across the floor so majestically and like
Kind
bringing
of
it
like-
back 2 miles.
Yes, in the performance as well.
Yes.
She does that. Okay.
And then it goes into that shot where it goes up and it pierces the veil. So it's like the last performer there.
Yeah.
Not gonna forget her now, ever.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You're like, I'm sorry.
But on stage, and I will say this performance as well gave a lot of these different, I don't want to say niche, but very like specific performers who are representing different art forms from
Yeah.
that community throughout time really well. I think it's kind of crazy to not act like her being front and center during the last, like, 20 seconds of that performance.
20's
Like,
pretty long, but okay.
it's,
Yeah, to
she's
the
there.
last
She's
part.
in front of all of the people singing
Yeah.
for very
She is prominent. I'll give you that. She's front and center for sure.
and I don't know, just, like, people are saying, some people are taking the point that's like, she didn't come here to correct this asshole. She came here to represent ballet and all of the talent that goes into that art form. I'm like, why can't it be both?
I am of the opinion, because I thought in the moment, what a gag, front and center, like shoving it in his face. Now I didn't know who she was, so obviously it's also highlighting, she's coming out of retirement, to play that role. So that's obviously great, and these performances are probably, to be fair, planned a long time in advance. So this is probably a plan for a long time.
I don't doubt that she was planned to be there at all.
Yes. But I do think, even if it was a coincidence, that she was highlighted up in front and center, either way, I think it's funny just given the circumstances.
Either way, I think it's so badass.
I agree. I think it's kind of awesome. It's like, even if it wasn't intentional, you're showing people how awesome this is, and in the same vein, like, humbling someone who tried to disrespect your entire art form. Like, I think it works out perfectly.
I agree.
So,
yeah, I don't know.
if
I
it
just
was
saw
a
some-
dig and intentional, great. If it wasn't, still worked out, great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of all I had before we start going category through category.
Sure.
From our should win, will win, I went through and I made the list that Alicia thought that we already had. So we have little brackets showing all of the different categories that got nominated at all of the different awards. So just kind of starting from the bottom, leading up to Best Picture.
Mm-hmm.
At the bottom, we have documentary film. So we had predicted that The Perfect Neighbor should win, will win.
Yes. Which, to be fair, that's the only one I have even currently seen.
And same here,
So,
of this category.
and like everybody thought it was gonna win. So, that's what I saw.
I mean, I also especially thought so because it was nominated for an editing award.
Mhm.
I want to say maybe at the Golden Globes. And I can totally see
Mhm.
why.
Yeah.
So I felt like maybe in that vein people were viewing it a little different.
Yeah.
And it ended up going to Mr. Nobody against Putin. And I think they had a lovely speech.
They did.
ta-
It made me want to watch the film.
Absolutely. It's currently on the Letterboxd rental store. So I definitely want to catch that as well. But having an anti-war sentiment right now,
Yeah,
I love when
important.
people take their opportunity to say important things.
Yeah, and I want to highlight all of the short films or documentaries, anything in that vein, that are often forgotten in other award ceremonies, because I feel like, from what I can remember, they all had really great speeches and important films, and I think right now, obviously, that's especially important, but also I love that they're taking the time to highlight why they deserve respect and recognition in places like this. I wish Golden Globes or somewhere else also acknowledge them.
Or at least across the board in a way that they do all of
Yeah.
these other art forms.
I agree. Oh, this is a little, well, I'll bring this up when we get to animated in a second.
Already going on to documentary short film. This I have seen 3 of the nominees. And we had predicted The Devil is Busy should will win. But I will say it did ultimately go to All the Empty Rooms. I was split between the two. I just picked
I hadn't seen
What
any,
I-
so I probably just went with whatever you picked.
yeah.
So.
But no, I think that this is a very important short documentary film. It talks about gun violence among children and teenagers and showing the impact of that. I think you can feel in the making that it was taken so seriously and with so much care. I think it's hard to say any of these didn't deserve to win. So I think it's well earned.
Absolutely.
Then next we have live action short film.
Oh, I also want to shout out the, I'm guessing, mom that spoke in their speech.
Yes.
I'm very glad that they gave her that platform.
Absolutely.
So,
live action short film. We had
What
a
a crazy,
tie.
yeah,
Oh my gosh. And I love that you could see how stressed Camille Nanjiani was when he opened that envelope.
He did great, though. He handled it so well that people online are really seriously wondering, like, was someone able to tell him what to do, or did he just come up with that on the fly? Like, you really can't tell, and I agree. So I think either way, it was handled well. So, yeah. And what a fun thing. You're like, so many people are like, I didn't know they could do that. And then all the other more like veteran watchers are like, yeah, they did it last time in like 2012 or whatever. I had to Google it, but
And didn't you find that also this category had a tie before?
Yes,
Back in, like,
in
the
1995, I believe. 2013 was something else. I knew that ties were a thing, but the last one I had heard of was Katharine Hepburn and Barbra Streisand, I believe, won Best Actress
And
a
Barb's
tie.
here
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. So I knew about it, but I didn't know they were still a thing. But they
That's
are.
crazy.
If they ever get the
That's
same
pretty
amount of
sick.
votes.
And it was very exciting, I will say, to see
Yeah.
that happen. And seeing them so kind of on board for having a historic moment like that.
Yeah.
Killed it. I remember we had, I think, agreed on A Friend of Dorothy. Unfortunately, we were silly and we didn't write down.
Because I don't think
predictions.
I had seen period drama yet. If I had, I think I would have picked that.
I
to
love
this-
that one. I feel
yes.
like it was not going to win because it's so comedic centered.
Yeah. Well, that's still the only one I've seen. So what can you do?
But of the ones here, I had not seen Butcher's Stain, and that's it. Per. But the tie was between The Singers and Two People Exchanging Saliva. The Singers, I think, it's not my favorite of this group. Borderline of the ones I watched, it's my least favorite. But I think I love what they were trying to do with it. And definitely they went off of that with their speech, and I thought that was very lovely.
Sure.
And then going over to Two People Exchanging Saliva, which I did really like. Loved that. Loved having queer, weird art being recognized. I can't remember exactly how she put it, but she ate it. However she worded that.
Yeah,
Weird
all their
and queer
speeches
film.
were great. Yeah.
And it's so cool. You do need to watch that.
Okay.
It's so fun. Fun's not the right word, but it's so creative
Yes.
and
Okay.
out there.
Yeah.
Okay. And then animated short film.
The Girl Who Cried Pearls.
This was one I had not seen. So
I hadn't well,
I don't think.
no, I hadn't either because I can't find it anywhere. I
Yeah,
think that's
which
the
is why
problem.
I didn't watch it either.
Yeah. That's one of the things I wish the short films were more accessible. I think this year a lot of them are. Because I remember last year really struggling to find where they were. So this year I didn't have as much trouble. I've just been in a little bit of a slump trying to get out of it. So I haven't watched as much. But I think Letterboxd has been helping a lot. Trying to bring more of these films like these that are less accessible to their platform, which is great. So that has helped a lot. Then also the streaming services. There's a lot on streaming services and YouTube as well, so that
Sure.
helps.
I remember we had agreed that we think Butterfly was gonna win, but I think Forever Green was our should win.
Yes,
'Cause
I
I
love
love
Forever
Forever
Green.
Green.
And that's the only one I had seen, so, and still haven't seen.
The Girl Who Cried Pearls, I will say, I love the style that we were able to see from it. Someday I hope to be able to watch it.
I agree.
Cinematic and box office achievement was only at the Golden Globe. Went to Sinners, though.
Let's do screenplays. That's the next one at
Yes.
the Oscars. We have adapted screenplay. No surprise. Listen, both of these categories were no surprises, but very well deserved. Adapted screenplay went to One Battle After Another, which I'm sure both that was our predictions.
Yeah,
I'm
so
sure.
we predicted both of these.
Yeah.
And they swept across the awards. Sinners
Yes.
got original screenplay.
Yeah, as they should. I liked a tweet, I'm trying to remember it, where someone said, I think the coolest award you could win is original screenplay because that means nobody can fuck with your pen game. And I love that. Because that means it's yours and yours alone. And you won an Oscar for that. And I think that's kind of awesome.
Indeed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next, visual effects. We saw an Avatar Fire and Ash sweep,
Obviously.
and we predicted that as well.
Yes.
And you know what? I also loved the way they showed the effects for these films.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm gonna go back on what I had said in our should win, will win. I think Jurassic World Rebirth has some rough patches, but I think I have gotten too spoiled to how good those dinosaurs look.
Yeah.
They truly, the way they come to life.
I mean, I still would have picked Fantastic
I
Four
still
over
think that there's
them.
other ones I would have picked, but I'm not. I think
And also,
I was a little harsh.
F1 being there gagged me when they had their like visual overlay with the cars not
and the
even
cars are
being there.
completely fake.
I'm like, okay, y'all got me, y'all gagged me. I'm like, maybe you do deserve to be here because that's pretty
Oh my
impressive.
God, when you're so good that the people don't realize
They
that
don't
they're looking at
even
visual
know.
effects. And I think that there's a wider conversation to be had there.
Yeah.
I hope someday they can kind of open up that conversation a little more.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that.
Sound.
Oh my God,
Also,
and also-
speaking of F1.
I'm sorry. Before we move on,
Okay.
I also loved Sigourney Weaver
Yes,
awarding this to that movie that she's in
yes,
with Avatar.
but also the Mandalorian
and the
bit was
Mandalorian
great.
and the Grogu puppet.
The
He
trailer,
can't clap.
Oh, I loved that.
Who brought the alien who can't clap to an award
It's
show?
just cruel. No, that was a great bit, and the trailer was great. I'm very excited.
Oh my gosh, it makes me so more excited for that movie. Actually.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, so best sound. Go ahead.
Well, speaking of F1, this got best sound. I don't think that was a surprise. I think it had been winning.
Yep, that was another sweep.
So, yeah, no surprise there. And I do think, that was one of the highlights of the movie. I think there are some places that F1 deserved to be nominated and here even win. Best Picture is one of our conversations where it's like, I don't know, no way, Jose. It was a good movie. I was even doing a ranking today on Letterboxd of the Best Picture noms.
Mhm.
And I did, well, obviously I put it in last, but it just put it in perspective. It actually did get rated half star higher than one of the others. But it's just a different level. Like, it's hard to really compare ratings sometimes because it's just, you have different expectations going into a movie. So I can acknowledge that even if maybe the rating's a little bit higher, it still doesn't really deserve to be here, especially not over films like I would have done K-pop Demon Hunter, some animated film. I think it's kind of crazy. So.
Clock.
Speaking of sweeps.
Best production design. Yet another sweep, but this time for Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Gosh, I love the design of
I agree.
Frankenstein. Oh, it just feels so gothic. It's like, it reminds me of like Nosferatu, but like dialed up to a crazy fairy tale level.
Yeah, and Nosferatu was very, very noir, I feel like. And this was a lot more colorful, but I think that's very intentional with the subject matter. You have a vampire versus Frankenstein's monster here. So I think
The use
they're
of
very
color,
appropriate.
and I think kind of highlighting like life and the different
Mhm.
shades.
Yeah.
The production of Frankenstein, regardless of
That's great.
opinions on the film overall, like a
The
gorgeous
craft
film.
categories, yeah, I think there's no argument against the craft categories winning here for Frankenstein. Well deserved.
For best song,
Another sweep with Golden.
Gotta be.
No, I'm so happy for them. I think it's so well deserved. I do think it's funny. Everyone's saying crazy that this won an Oscar and it's not even the best song in the film. I totally agree. But I think that just goes to show. Some people may be saying that as a dig. I'm saying it in a way of like, that's how good these songs are. And I'm just so happy for the songwriters and the main performer, EJ. Is that his name? I actually don't know. I just know it's 4 letters, EJAE, and I don't know if that's how to pronounce it. But I think she's awesome. I think her story's awesome.
Every time she goes up there to accept and like give her speech, I think
Yeah.
she does it so humbly
Yeah.
and recognizing how big this award is.
Yes, for sure.
And I think she does that really well.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I was about to say.
this is the
Yeah.
dirtiest that
Cut
the
off.
Oscars did, with such an awkward cutoff, and seeing as soon as she was done, she was giving room for someone else to step up
Mhm.
and talk about it, and oh my gosh, they literally,
Very loudly played the music and did not stop.
it was so
Very hard to
horrible.
watch, and very ridiculous too. Because someone also pointed out they ended 15 minutes early, so they were not pressed for time, and that was towards the end of the night. That was like the, they had like that one and 4 others, the 4 main categories left. I mean, you knew at that point that you had time, so that there's just no excuse for that.
And especially for the song that you had them perform it live.
Yeah, and then then you have the bridesmaid bit that went on way too long. It's just like, come on, what are we doing here? I think it's ridiculous that this is still a problem. This is talked about nearly every award show every year. And that's why Actors Awards remains number 1, because as far as I can remember, they did not have that problem.
Yeah, no.
So, anyways, I think it's ridiculous that you don't allow more time for categories that are going to award multiple people.
Yeah, that's
It
fair.
just makes sense to me that that's going to take longer. Anyways,
Next we had Best Score. Another sweep. See you, Ludwig Göransson, with your 3rd Oscar win.
might be 4th next year with the Odyssey.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
a crazy run.
Crazy career.
Ugh.
And that all went to Sinners. And gosh,
As it should.
so well deserved. And man, it's maybe a little hard to say that, because especially having all of the scores performed live on stage, some amazing scores. I feel like this, maybe competitive is the wrong word because it was a sweep, but
Mhm.
what a great year for scores.
Yeah, I think I don't know. It is hard because I do think there are good scores. To me, Sinners is the lead, like the clear lead for me.
Mhm.
When that like
Oh, it
I'm
like kicks in
come
when they performed
on.
it at the Oscars with the live orchestra. I
I'm
was
like, no,
oh my
nobody beats that.
gosh.
Maybe One Battle After Another with how like all the piano keys and everything. I loved that. That's the only thing that came close to me. But it's got to be Sinners, all day, every day.
Whew.
Another sweep. We have a little trend going on here. Best hair and makeup.
I think it's funny that
Frankenstein.
of the categories we've been looking at, all of them have been sweeps so far.
But they've been very deserved too. So maybe it's been a little bit of a boring season, but it's been a very positive and well deserved season overall. So it's hard. Like I would take a boring year but good year over a messy year, in my opinion.
Well said.
But anyways, next up, this is not a sweep, not quite. We have best casting.
Yeah, and there were some switch ups. So, Critics' Choice was first, and casting went to Sinners. I remember thinking that was a really great moment.
Yeah.
And then at the BAFTAs, it went to the UK film I Swear, which had a lot of conversation that night. And I will say, I'm kind of glad that conversation dialed down. I thought that was such a toxic conversation.
I think that was just
across the board.
Yeah, I think I've seen other people say something similar with Timothée Chalamet's conversation, kind of overtaking that. They're like, I'm kind of glad, actually. And a lot of people just towards the end, even before Timothée Chalamet's thing, was just like, this award season is going on way too long. Why is it in the middle of March? And I do agree.
I agree. No,
I think
sure.
it needs to be at least end of February, and then we'll see about earlier. But
no,
yeah, I totally agree.
I completely agree. But I will say, unlike the Timothée Chalamet one, like, this was a case where the conversation that needed to be had was not being had with the people responsible for the event, for the incident happening, and the people who bared sole responsibility for making sure horrible stuff like this didn't happen. And gross negligence for letting it happen across the board.
Yeah.
Whereas Timothée Chalamet was like, well, if you're going to say something on such a
The
platform,
entire internet
maybe you
united
gotta-
about that, pretty much. Yeah.
maybe you got to answer the things you say. Sorry. Moving on, and I still haven't seen I Swear. I've heard that it's coming to HBO Max soon, and I do want to give it a watch.
Okay.
I'm very fascinated too. And then the actor went to Sinners for casting.
Yes.
Another amazing moment.
Yeah.
And then the Oscar
Went to one battle
turned
after
left and went to
another.
one battle after another.
Which you can't say it's undeserved because what an amazing cast. A lot of people were in a similar thought process where they're like, you know what? You deserve an Oscar just for casting Chase Infinity.
I remember even before
Right.
they announced that, and when they had all of the different actors from the movies talking about how big casting is to a movie, having Chase Infinity stand up there next to like such big names, and like, oh my gosh,
But, like,
she fits in flawlessly.
Yeah, she deserves to be there. She deserves to have an acting nom, even though she didn't get one. But a lot of people were in agreement, like, why is she not here? So I'm glad she was still included in one way or another, and I'm glad they were awarded for this. Even though I'm like, I would not have been mad in the slightest for Sinners, because also, what a deserved thing. But yeah, it's just a very competitive year.
Absolutely. I'm very excited for this new category, and I'm very excited to see how it kind of changes and grows. It's very
Yeah.
exciting to be here at the birth of it.
I know, I'm so excited. And then Stunts is gonna be next
I
year,
cannot
so
wait for stunts. I'm sorry, Mission Impossible.
you were a year too late, and that is a damn shame. Ugh. Tom Cruise is gonna come out of retirement for Mission
Let's do
Impossible
this
just
one
for
last
this.
time.
Yeah,
Mission Impossible, we're getting the stunt award, the stunt Oscar.
he said, "I'll do one more just to get the award."
Our next category we had was Best International. I also used Foreign Language Film. That's how it's described in some of the other more global awards. There were four different nominees for this. Not an actor, obviously. So at the Critics' Choice, it went to The Secret Agent. At the Golden Globes, it also went to The Secret Agent. At the BAFTAs, it went to Sentimental Value. And then here, as we predicted, it also went to Sentimental Value.
Yeah, I think it was a good race. I'm not surprised that it went to Sentimental Value. I think after how many actors they gave a nom from that film, I'm not surprised that they gave it something, because I knew it wasn't going to win Best Picture. I'm a little sad that means Secret Agent didn't get anything, but I also think Sentimental Value was a wonderful
It is a great
film. And I will say, if I had to pick between the two, I did like Sentimental Value better. So, if I had to pick one getting a award, it would have been.
No, I agree. We did end up watching The Secret Agent literally right before we had to try and switch gears to watch the Oscars.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that we did.
Yeah.
It switches between super serious and grounded, and then some of the sillier aspects, and I think that makes it a really fun film.
Yeah, fun watch.
It got nominated for casting a couple times, as it should. I think it's such a vibrant cast with so many small roles, but they all feel like they add so much flavor to the scenes.
Yeah.
So shout out to the UC. Oh, and Wagner Moura. Oh my gosh. I don't know why it took me watching the film for me to be like, oh,
He's fine.
sir.
No, he did a great job too. I think his nom was so deserved as well, and he won once. The
Absolutely.
Golden Globe.
Congratulations, sentimental value. On to best editing.
One battle after another. Woo! As it should. Little worried when F1 won the Critics' Choice, but that's a little crazy. But so deserved for one battle after another. I mean, come on, it's for the car chase scene alone. This deserved an Oscar.
There's
So
so many great shots in this.
very, very happy for them.
Mm.
Another sweep back to our trend that we lost for a
Frankensweep.
while. Frankensweep. Frankenstein for best costume design. So deserved. This would have been a great opportunity to showcase the costumes, especially because of I think of Elizabeth's spine thing, her spine dress. Love that. I think it'd be really cool if not the actors wearing it, if they at least brought it out maybe as a display on stage so the physical thing was there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be cool. But
And you know
just a
what?
thought.
Also, foot and mouth, they did show that the crown from Avatar Fire and Ash was
real
made
thing.
real at some point.
Sure.
However,
I mean, one crown against an entire.
no, for
I mean,
sure.
there's just no comparison. I still.
And you raised such a great point that I'm going to repeat here again. If we're going to nominate a,
Costumes that aren't real and aren't
then why are we not
physically
doing
made.
it for animation as well? Because they have to do the same things, not as meticulously detailed to make it look realistic,
Mhm.
but to make it fit into the aesthetic of the world.
Yeah.
It's the same job. Just one is dealing with people movement, one's dealing with animated movement. I don't know. It's
Kind of crazy.
it's
to me.
messy. It's very
Yeah.
messy.
Yeah.
And needlessly messy. It wasn't gonna win.
Yeah. I agree.
I don't know.
Another
But I'm glad it went to Frankenstein.
Another obvious sweep. We have best animated feature went to K-pop Demon Hunters. Absolutely no surprise there. I think so well deserved. This was a great year for animation, and what a stacked category. Any other year, any of these films I think would have made for a tight race, but I think K-pop Demon Hunters, I mean, obviously
it's so transcendent
took over.
in culture.
yeah.
Something I didn't clock originally, but K-pop Demon Hunters didn't win the BAFTA. That went to Zootopia 2.
Yeah.
And we didn't watch the BAFTAs. We
Yeah.
weren't paying that much attention to it.
Well, because they didn't actually stream it live.
Mm-hmm. So I remember being like, what the heck is happening over there? And they only nominated 3 films in this category over at the BAFTAs. And it was only Elio, Little Amelie, or The Character of Rain, and Zootopia 2. And I think that's kind of...
So,
I'm so curious what the critique...
why K-pop Demon Hunters didn't make the cut.
It's very bizarre.
Eligibility or
And
what
what do you mean
happened
there's
there?
only 3? It's very bizarre.
I don't know. Speaking of animation though, we were talking about that they don't get appreciated enough, obviously. We've talked about that a lot on here. But I had the idea that they should do a voice acting category at some point. I think that would be such a great idea.
And just one voice acting
Yeah,
category.
you don't even need to, to start out at least. You don't even need to do actor and actress. Just do one. You don't need to do supporting. Just start out and maybe build from there if there's demand for it. I think there would be demand for it, but I can understand. I think the idea would be more approachable to the Academy if you pitched just one category.
And I will say, I think that I can see that sticking around a bit.
Yeah.
And I mean, look at the Golden Globes and them having a category for podcasts. Like, we're already there, people.
Yeah. Well, and people have brought up good points about Avatar as well. Those performances tend to not get nominated. I don't know if they've ever gotten nominated. But like Zoe Saldana, a lot of people were like, she should have won an Oscar for that. And I think that would also be if that was able to be eligible for that, that would also be a good segue for that.
I do agree that you need to kind of be aware of the technology that's out there.
Yeah.
And be awarding the different types of performances that are being given, especially if it's being excluded for whatever reason, but still having such a great appeal to people.
Yeah.
I hope someone's having that conversation in the Academy, and I hope they're convincing.
It would be nice.
Also I wanted to shout out, someone pointed out that K-Pop Demon Hunters is the second animated film to earn more than one Oscar. The second one was Prince of Egypt, which also won Best Animated Film and Best Song.
As it should, though. Prince of Egypt is great. Wow, that's awesome.
That's really cool.
Happy for them.
Next was Best Cinematography.
I went to
This was
Sinners.
It did go to Sinners, which I think what did we put it on? I think we put it on One Battle After Another.
I don't know. I feel like I would have picked Sinners. I've been a big Sinners.
I think we might have been
person. Maybe we were split. I know we were split on a couple. So maybe we were split on that one. I can't really remember.
But it's hard to say what isn't dessert. But I also feel so bad for Train Dreams.
Yeah. It would have been nice because I think out of anything, Train Dreams had the best chance here. And I think it would have been well deserved, but it is hard to say that Sinners, obviously that is also so deserved. I think it just goes to show what a great year for cinematography.
Yeah, that's all over the place. This is the only category we've had so far that's only had different winners.
Yeah, and so happy to that woman who won.
Absolutely.
I don't remember your name, but you had a great speech.
Great speech highlighting all of the women who
having everybody stand up.
To this lovely Academy and all of the art that touches everyone. Love it.
Also, I don't know if this is true. This might have been just a total joke, but people were having... someone on TikTok made a compilation of Stellan Skarsgård throughout the night having so much fun, like with the K-Pop Demon Hunters thing, moving around. And someone said, apparently he even stood when that lady asked all the women to stand. And I feel like there's very few men that could get away with that. I do think Stellan Skarsgård is one of those. I could see him like maybe doing just a little bit and sitting back down. I don't know. I don't know if that's true, but if it was, that is hilarious to me. He's I'm one of the girls.
Anyway. Next up, another sweep.
What a sweep.
For Best Director, all the awards went to Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah.
And
as it should.
Pretty well deserved.
Also, really love that lady who won in casting who was like, I won one before you. And then I do love that. And then she also said something about like a PTA meeting, like referring to his initials.
That's sick.
I thought that was fun. Yeah, but very well deserved. I think Ryan Coogler, I do wish maybe Ryan Coogler was more in this race because I think he's a great director. But again, it's I'm saying this a lot, but it's hard to be mad because I think Paul Thomas Anderson is very overdue as well. So yeah, and he made a great movie. So it's hard to say. It's just like I love everybody. I'm like I want everybody to win.
No, and I will say of like all of these nominees, I think are gonna make amazing projects next. Like I'm so excited for all of these directors who got nominated.
Yeah.
And honestly, throughout this awards race, like such amazing directors working right now, and I know there's a lot of conversation that you see from like general people talking about film, especially if they're not in it. Like the conversation of like things were better back then, but God, if I do not love some of the people who spearhead film these days.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'm one of those people that's of the opinion most of the time that if you're going to win Best Picture, your director should win Best Director. Because, like, how are you going to make the movie of the year and not be awarded for director? So I'm glad that happened this year. Spoilers, if you haven't seen it. It's okay.
Oh my God, they're watching us to get their news about the Oscars.
I'm so sorry. Anyways, we're almost there, people.
Into the acting categories.
Dang. Unfortunately, this was one of the only categories we missed. So I'm so sorry, Amy Madigan. We were trying our best, I promise. Yeah, I'm so happy for you. Yeah.
I loved
can't
seeing
wait.
people report that Weapons won 100% of the awards it was nominated for.
And it did.
Oh, and then Scary Movie's poster immediately after she
Yeah.
won. I loved that.
Yeah. And it was really funny because we couldn't see her the rest of the night. We were continuously trying to find her in the audience and couldn't. And we were like, what if she just left? I don't think she did because they took a picture of the three acting winners. But like, Amy, where are you? Where are you, queen?
No, and honestly, I cannot stand Amy Madigan hate. You're allowed to think that other people should have won the award.
Oh, yeah. Stat category.
With Sean Penn having won, there's a clear better way to direct your anger at people winning awards here.
Yeah. There's a clear villain in this Oscar race, and it's not her. Guys, I understand being disappointed, but because that is a great category, and they, you know, it could have been anyone's game. But again, at some point, when do we admit that there were a lot of great performances and many of them deserve to win? But it's got to go to one person. So I can't not be happy for her.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's such a win for horror. I love it.
Great win for horror.
This is a great night for horror wins.
And the idea that your career can always uptick no matter how long in the game you are.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome.
No, I forgot about Frankenstein. I was thinking Sinners and Weapons had wins, but then also Frankenstein had a lot of wins. So what a great night for horror.
Horror.
Substance, you really opened the floodgates, and I loved that.
Next category we had supporting actor. Speak of
Okay,
the devil.
so Sean Penn won. He wasn't there. He didn't give a speech. Yay, that was the only good part of that.
Sean Penn couldn't make it or didn't want to make it.
I loved that joke. If nothing else, I'm happy that he wasn't there to give a speech and be in the picture.
God.
You know, if it had to be him, at least he didn't have to be there. And someone's like, maybe he won't be there next year to present, and Kieran Culkin will get to try again and actually hand it to somebody this year. And I actually really hope that happens. So, like, King, I'm rooting that. I'm manifesting that for you.
Man, no. Speaking of Sean Penn, there were so many moments when they were referring to the film.
A lot of moments.
And they just kept highlighting him. And I'm like, you have nominees in this movie in every acting category.
Leonardo DiCaprio. If nothing else. If you need a white guy front and center, pick Leonardo DiCaprio. If that's just what you need in your whatever heart of hearts.
But like the script, whenever it was
Guys.
doing the clip for script, it was such a nothing scene with him.
Why are we highlighting Sean Penn out of the entire talented cast?
And not even one of his good scenes. That scene could not have been in the movie. And it's like still the same movie. I just thought that was so bizarre.
No, I agree. They highlighted him many times, and I was like, what are we doing
He's
here?
not even here. Academy. He doesn't like you.
No.
What are you trying to do here? And honestly, I find it very
weird, honestly.
that across the board, he won 3 of the awards here, especially given the other people in this category.
Mm-hmm.
I was really hoping that Delroy Lindo was going to do a split vote. I think we did Benicio del Toro should win and Sean Penn will win when we did our prediction.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice if nothing else, if maybe Sean Penn and Benicio split, and then it could go to Delroy or even Stellan Skarsgård. But that just even further, that means so many people had to look at the 2 options from that movie and choose the worst one, the less good one. Now, do I think he gave a good performance in that movie? Yes.
He's a great villain.
Yeah, but he's not. He's like, out of all the noms from that movie, he's the worst one for me. So what are we doing here, people? He's definitely my least favorite in the category.
And I'm going to say, in the movie and in this category, he's the one doing the least acting.
Anyways.
Um,
On to a better category.
for real. Lead actress.
A sweep for Jessie Buckley.
Shout out to Rose Byrne.
Yes. I'm so happy for her. I think she did great work in Hamnet. She's been doing great work. I loved her in Women Talking, and I'm excited to see what she does next. Apparently, she's the first Irish woman to win in the category, which is shocking because there are a lot of talented Irish women. Saoirse Ronan, anyone? Anyways, so I'm happy for her. Yeah.
God, her as Agnes in that film is just so like
She's the heart of that film, absolutely. I mean, also Hamnet, but yes.
no, like she's truly the leading heart of it.
Yes, I agree.
Ugh,
I'm so happy for her.
I love Jessie Buckley so much now.
Yeah.
Ugh. And to answer your question, the next thing she's doing is The Bride. So.
Well, she did good in The Bride, okay? But after that, I want to see what else she does.
Gosh. Oh, love. All right. Lead actor. Oh my gosh. This was like my biggest hype moment of the night.
Mm-hmm. I think we were all holding our breaths a little bit because up until Timothée Chalamet's thing, I was like, I want Timothée Chalamet to win. Now, I was also, I've talked about this on here before, so there is video proof. I was also like, Michael B. Jordan though, like, I've always been like, I don't know, it might be him too.
His campaign, I think, really kind of snuck up towards the end. Like, I think of Wunmi Musaku on the tour talking about acting against him as both characters and how they felt so different.
Yeah.
I think towards the end, they did a really great job of, like, highlighting how crazy that is to do and to perform at that level.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think the actor awards did a lot to really push Sinners and kind of elevate it a bit more than it already was.
I agree.
I think Sinners was already doing great work to survive in conversation for as long as it did because it came out close to a year ago.
Yeah.
But it still remains so relevant and so lively. And I think the actor awards really kind of pushed it over the edge.
I agree. I'm so happy for him. I think he's been long overdue for one. And you could tell how much everyone in that room also agrees with that and loves and adores him. He seems like one of those actors that's very confident, very talented, but still very humble. I don't know. I feel like a lot of times confidence, if you're not careful, can come off as arrogance. But I've just never really felt that with him. He's always seemed very grateful, and I'm talking about that because of Timothée Chalamet and how that's maybe what we need more of right now. He just seems so kind. I love that his mom goes to so many of these events. She's gorgeous.
Can we talk about how gorgeous she is? Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Like, we did an initial pan over a couple times, and I was like,
woo!
why is he sitting next to...
She could be Angela Bassett right now.
Bassett.
Like, that is how gorgeous you look right now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think that's so fun. So, very happy for him. Also, if you're a book reader and you've read Fourth Wing, he's heavily involved in that production. That may or may not be happening. So, good for him. He's doing some stuff. He's gonna be doing some stuff. So,
Gosh, that was... Oh, I was so hyped. We screamed.
yeah. No, I was shocked still. I honestly didn't know because the stuff about Timothy came out like a day before the Oscar voting closed, so I thought it was already too late. So the fact that it still went to him is like, damn, Timothy's never actually stood a chance. That's okay though.
Yeah.
Timothy will get
He'll
one
have
at
his
some
chance.
time in his life, hopefully when he has become more humble. Because it ain't going to be next year, because next year is going to be probably Matt Damon or Tom Cruise, honestly.
Indeed.
So, anyway.
And that leads us into our last category of Best Picture.
One battle after another.
Yeah, this one was also a pretty clear sweep.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I was pointing out at the end of the night when we were counting how many each movie won. I believe One Battle After Another got 6 and Sinners got 4. I was like, I wish this is how I wanted the Barbie and Oppenheimer year, the Barbenheimer, if you will, year. I wish it would have gone like that. That's when I thought it deserved to go like that, a little more closely together. So I'm happy to see that it actually happened here. I love when two almost equally masterfully done films get almost equal recognition.
Indeed.
So
going,
also should.
I have the list of the number of times each movie won.
Sure.
Obviously at number with 6 wins, we had One Battle After Another. Sinners had 4 wins. Frankenstein had 3. K-Pop Demon Hunters had 2. Sentimental Value, Weapons, Hamnet, and F1 all got 1.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Interesting.
very fun.
Good year, solid year. Interested to see how the next year goes.
Same time next year, folks.
Yeah, we will be here. So
Yeah.
excited.
This is very, I think this was a very wonderful, if a little long, award season.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to do this again next year.
You know, at least it was long with good movies. If it was this long last year, whew. They were good movies. No, I don't want to get into last year. Let's stick with this year. It was good. Let's rev it up. Okay.
Absolutely. So, what did you think of the Oscars and the awards race of 2026? Let us know in the comments below. And until next time, thank you so much for watching. I'm your host, Luke.
And I'm your host, Alicia.
And thank you so much for watching Not So Straight Nerds.
Bye.